Guardrails, not roadblocks. We've lived it. Raina, you are innocent in this. You've never been an IT admin, so you've never been the one to put the roadblock up. I'm sure I have, and I'm sorry for it. But then it's folks like Raina that go in and have conversations with business users because they're looking for something to help be more of a guardrail, not a roadblock. So here we are. We decided we would have this conversation. So if we've never met before, thank you. Thank you for joining us. My name is Joy Apple. I'm the Director of Success and Enablement at Orchestry. I've had the pleasure of being in the Microsoft ecosystem for 20 years now. I've seen things. This is a platform where we can share some stories. We'll get into some stuff as we go. But so glad you're here. I'm seeing so many familiar names. Thank you. Thank you for coming and joining. Raina, my partner in crime. How are you today, love?
Girl, if I was any better, I'd be twins. But thank you ever so much for inviting one of our conversations that we have at least once a month to a wider scale audience. A little bit about myself. I actually have the distinct pleasure of working with prospective Orchestry customers as well as existing Orchestry customers to find out what's hard and how we can potentially help resolve really big challenges that are worth digging into. As far as a little bit of background, I'm a rescue dog mom. He probably won't wake up, but he is not a prop. He's 17-year-old Jackie boy. And as far as history, I've worked for 13 years in an information technology research firm and learned a lot about the struggles of admins and IT executives. But I think I'll be able to bring some balance today because I'm also that business user that IT administrators is a little afraid of. So hopefully that'll be a nice counterbalance.
Here keeps us on our toes, right? Okay. So I'm contractually obligated to have an agenda, even though I think that's just, I don't know, no rules. But we're going to talk a little bit about when it comes to governance, the workaround economy. And we can't pretend like it doesn't exist. We know it does. Friction map, what's getting in people's way and what are the repercussions when our governance and our total control causes friction? So where do we then start to inject a balance between control, convenience, dare we call it enablement? We're going to talk about messaging a little bit. Raina has a buzz phrase for this. It's golden. I can't wait till we get to that point. And then let's talk about action. We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to see if maybe we can actually do it. Let's just do it. Sometimes I tend to do that a little bit more than I should. Let's just do it, see what happens. Maybe not the best plan. So we're going to talk about it in the context of governance and guardrails, right? Okay. So let's jump in. The workaround economy, right? As IT, we do have a tendency to, well, it's not even a tendency. I want to say it's our job to make sure we stay safe, that our data stays safe, that our organization stays safe. We don't want risky behavior. We don't want people to feel like they're doing risky things. Sometimes, instead of putting guardrails in place, we put up a roadblock, right? Least reasonable access. Love that phrase. But it's our job to make sure everybody and everything stays safe. Now, sometimes, who's heard the phrase in their career? Uh-oh, that was a retro phone noise. That was super fun. Oh, there it is again. What's happening? But who's heard the phrase in their career that we have to do more with less? I have. Okay, I got to figure out where that's coming from. I don't know where it's coming from.
Feel root. I guess we're going to go back to mute. Oh, well.
Sure.
Greg blaming me. My goodness.
But this is why we mute. It's true. Okay, we're good now. But we have to do more with less, which sometimes means our default response is to lock things down because our resources are strained, right? And we maybe don't have the time to go dig in and figure out what all the possibilities are. So we do tend to put up these roadblocks. Raina, I know you get to talk to people day in and day out, multiple times a day. What are the most common types of roadblocks you hear that organizations have put in place and they're trying to find a way to make it better?
Well, one of the most obvious ones is obviously locking everything down so that a business user can't spin up a collaboration workspace that they need. They have to go through a process. Now, I understand why this happens in many cases.
Mm-hmm.
Many people are still dealing with the shocking effect of the Wild West approach and still trying to dig out of the mess that created. But as a business user, sometimes speed matters. And especially if you're looking to collaborate with an outside source, it can sometimes be a waiting game that can cause frustration because time matters. So that's one of the things that I often hear, and I often hear from the organizations that I'm speaking with that the business is pushing back, that it's a little too restrictive. So
Yeah.
what is that workaround?
And they'll find one. We always find a way to get our jobs done because we have to. That's why we get paid to do our job. So if our technology isn't supporting that, we're going to find a way. So I'm going to go way back. One of my favorite training gigs I ever did was Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State. And I even got a little challenge coin for that. Everything, it sits on my desk. And this was from back in 2011. That's how long this has been with me. Their SharePoint team had gotten locked down. Now we're talking the olden days of on-prem, right? It wasn't long after the dinosaurs were roaming the earth, but they were not allowed to create new SharePoint site collections. So they had a certain set, all they got without going through a massive change request approval process. So their workaround was creating many, many, many pages that were security trimmed granularly, and when they could cite subsites. So they had very deep, very nested, very granularly permissioned pages because that's what they had to work with, right? They'll always find a way, but then we see those detours create their own friction paths. And we're a sharing kind of group. Feel free, if you've got any of those stories in there, feel free to drop them in chat. And our goal today is to have plenty of QA and conversation time as we go and at the end. But the main places we tend to see in M365 where there are those friction points and we go find detours, access and approval, 100%. And I think a lot of times that ties hand in hand with collaboration and provisioning, Raina, like you said. It's so tightly controlled. It's hard to get a new collaboration space. It's hard to get a new team. It's hard to get a new site. So maybe we'll go create new document libraries with granular permissions and do the work there because I can't get the approval to go get the new place, right? So a lot of that can happen. Some of you, if you've worked with me very much, you've probably already heard this story. I had a customer when I was consulting that it was absolutely not, thou shalt not have any kind of internal collaboration with external participants. And we found out they were having business critical conversations with their customers and vendors in Facebook Messenger.
True story.
Because it's the one app they all had, right? So that made us all kind of clench up a bit, just thinking about the potential business risk there. But yeah, it's a real conversation to have around when does it make sense to say no? When does it make sense to have a conversation where we make it better? Where can we work with the customers? And here's a fun thing, and I say customers, also our users. Unpopular opinion, IT is a service organization. So we are here to serve the users, the business, and to create tools that actually support them in their job. Raina, thoughts, opinions, observations?
I have some thoughts, I have some opinions, and I might have a rant. So we work in this wonderful world where we're connected all the time. And a business user may not be at their home office or their physical office. And they're out meeting with customers. They have a concern, they have a question. You want to capture that, or someone who isn't at the event reaches out to you, sends you a picture, and you want to very quickly take a screenshot of it and send it to your support people because your desire is to help them out as fast as possible. But because a guardrail was put up that's more of a roadblock, you can't do that. So you literally have to wait till you get back to your hotel room because you can't do it on your phone. You have to actually be on your laptop. Does that resonate with anyone?
Me. I mean, sometimes it'd be so nice to be able to copy text out of a Teams message here from one person and pass it in like to an email to it. There's things, there's stuff, but the security says no. Oh,
now I understand why they're doing it. I do, but I wonder if conversations were had, maybe we could understand that there is a good reason and the reward is worth the risk. And I think that sometimes those conversations don't take place.
Yeah. And conversations is a tricky thing too. We need to have folks on the IT side of the world that aren't just willing, but enjoy having those business level conversations. And that's not all of us. Some of us you can't shut
nor
us
should
up.
it be. I have a point. I have to interject this.
Do it.
What happened to the business analyst, the conduit between IT and the business, someone who actually likes having those conversations? Like, let's not make, certain personality types have that, but I miss that connective tissue that could really be that bridge between too controlled or too free, and just really realizing what it is that business users need. Thoughts?
Totally agree. I would show of hands. Who here in your organization, you are privileged and blessed to have those BA roles, even if they're called something else? I see some hands going up. Well, awesome. 10. This is honestly, this is more already than I thought. 11. Thank you. See, hope and humanity restored.
Oh my goodness, I have to call out, Greg says, isn't that what governance is for?
Who gets to be the mouthpiece of that though? We have them, but they aren't generally doing the current state for future state mapping. Fair. Okay, that's very fair, Lisa. All right, thank you. Well, let's have another slide here. Can you tell, we're trying not to do death by PowerPoint in this presentation. We agreed, we had a contract that we wouldn't do that to each other.
Does Greg have a question?
Greg, would you like to interject, or is the hand just still up?
The hand's just still up.
Okay, fair. No problem. So shadow IT is what we get when those roadblocks get in the way, and we've not gotten to that point where we're having that effectual communication back and forth. Now, fun fact, many times I've been like, hey, just submit a ticket and I can help you. But maybe the business has submitted tickets before and it went nowhere and did nothing. Or they just got back, it's like, yeah, we don't do that right now. Or maybe it didn't work. Maybe the face of IT has changed. Maybe the capabilities have changed. So they don't know that can be done now. There's maybe not been a good communication campaign or a IT moment on the homepage. So we just don't know things are different now. Personal email forwarding. Okay. This is not a sales pitch for Orchestry, but I cannot tell you how many times I sit down with a customer the first time they look at the report out of Orchestry of the guest domains that are in their environment. They're like, why do we have all these Gmail and Hotmail and Outlook accounts? Sometimes it's guest access. Sometimes it's people testing with their own personal email accounts. A shade of shadow IT, I would say. It's a shade. I mean, I've done it. I think we've all done it. File sharing, yeah, we've done it. Maybe
Guilty.
we're using Dropbox instead of OneDrive for whatever reason.
Well, not that guilty.
Maybe. Is maybe the sharing is locked down in OneDrive where they can't share with anyone, but they need to. So they use Dropbox. I don't even want to guess how many different form tools are out there in the world. But yeah, it's out there. It's real. But the one thing I like, and I'm going to say ChatGPT came up with the image for this slide, and I love how it put in the bottom right-hand corner, look for patterns, not villains. I think that's important. Where are we seeing Dropbox usage? I had a customer once, Dropbox called them and said, you all are paying so much for our product, but it's through like personal Dropbox accounts. If you would go enterprise, you would save so much money. Well done, Dropbox, for reaching out with that. But the person on the end of the phone went, we don't use Dropbox. Well, you might not, but your employees do. Because they didn't know they had OneDrive. They didn't know the capabilities. They didn't know what was possible. And that's not a technology problem. It's a process problem on our side for maybe not having that conversation enough or loud enough or frequently enough.
And I agree with that. I think that it's my old grandmother's adage, if you knew better, you'd do better, quite simply. And I don't think that business users want to put the company at risk. I don't believe that they inherently want to take part in risky behavior. But I think that sometimes if the controls are too tight, that encourages curious behaviors, right? So I love that it's not a personality trait. It really isn't. So I think it's to find out, why are these people doing these things? And then finding out that maybe they didn't know that there was an easier way to do it that was still well within the confines of what's acceptable.
Yeah. And if you are looking for those patterns, you've probably already thought about this. You are my people, but remember the help desk, because they see it. They're the ones getting the question. Even if it's not an open ticket now of a problem, do they have old tickets of people asking how to do certain things? Look for those trends, and you will probably find more than you wanted to of areas of where you can start digging in. And Lisa, I see your comment. I'm losing the use SharePoint, not OneDrive for group documents battle. There was, I can't remember his name now. There was an MVP a few years ago that did a brief little video. And the one comment I took away from that is that everybody's favorite radio station is WIIFM. What's in it for me?
Oh, I can find that. I've been to his lessons. I totally remember that.
Yes, because it was so good. And it can be hard sometimes to go like, okay, where do we find what's in it for that user, right? What's in it for that group? What's in it for the organization, especially with something that, dare I say, it's so mundane as when to use SharePoint versus OneDrive. But one big thing is what happens when that OneDrive account goes away? Because one day it will. Pain, suffering, wailing, and gnashing of teeth is what's going to happen if the spreadsheet that's still running the business suddenly goes poof because it was in Joy's OneDrive and she finally bought a lottery ticket, won, and is now living in Bora Bora. That's my dream.
Ask it for money. I put it in the chat.
Thank you. Yes, so good. Find his stuff. It's so good. And that's it, Greg. Exactly right. I'm really excited for some of the capabilities we're going to be releasing this year around OneDrive management. But even without that, there are ways to pull reports and run them. So we're going to talk about OneDrive. Let's talk about OneDrive. Find out, dig into the sharing links that are coming out of people's OneDrive. If you want a pattern, that's probably one of the most topical patterns to try to drill into right now. Because if there are a lot of anyone in the organization, or I'm sorry, everyone in the organization or anyone links coming out of OneDrive, whoever has clicked those links, their co-pilot is now using that as grounding documentation. It's a source of truth, whether it should be or not. Ooh, could kind of be a big deal. You see, I can confirm it's a common request for me to save a file from OneDrive with someone who's left. Thank you, Bethany. Yep. All right. Before I go on, I'm going to reiterate again what Raina just said. It's not people trying to do the wrong thing. They're just trying to do it. And maybe they just need a little bit additional help or guidance or that open, non-judgmental, which means Joy has to put her poker face on sometimes, conversation.
I agree. And if I can leave one other thing from my
Please.
wonderful grandmother, you don't make people responsible by taking away their responsibility. Right. So, yeah. So we just need to spend a little bit of time in explaining what the consequences are and why, if we allow you to do this, we need you to do this a special way. So
I like that. I like that. And I think we actually have a slide that will get into that next. But first up, just a little sanity check, just a reminder for us, for our businesses, the tighter those controls are, the more likely users are going to find an escape route, that workaround, and bring in IT. But the lower the risk of shadow IT, right? It means the lower those guardrails are. So which means it could be, it's a lower risk of shadow IT, but I think the flip side of that is it's a higher risk that something might get overshared or used improperly. So there's definitely balance here. Sometimes that high control is absolutely necessary. And if it is, it means we need to have very responsive communication channels for when someone says, but I need to do this. How can I do it and not do the wrong thing? How can I do this without it being a security breach? How can I do this without getting in trouble or somebody waving the governance rule book at me that nobody ever bothers to read? Thoughts, comments, questions? Balance is hard. Yeah.
and
so
when
important.
I think about that is that, like, this is not my own personal opinion. This is having conversations with the people that make these decisions for the last, I'm not admitting to how many years. It's been a long time. Let's leave it at that.
Perfectly
But
fine.
you need to be having conversations with the people that will be using this technology, and you need to have an understanding of what they need to do, right? Because if we don't understand how important it is, how can we devise something that's in that Goldilocks middle where you're satisfying and mitigating the risk of something catastrophic happening, where you're not holding back business users from doing the things that they need to do, that it encourages them to go around these processes, which is even riskier. So
it
we need
really
to understand what do you do? How do you leverage this technology? What do you find hard? Again, so having that conduit between the business users and IT is always going to help.
Yeah. And asking that question, what do you wish you could do? What do you need to be able to do, but you just don't know how to get it done with what you have?
And you might be surprised that they'll willingly share their shadow IT approach. Oh, no worries. I just download the document, I send it to my Gmail account, and then I share it from there.
Yep. Or I use, what is it? Mail or something like that when they could be using forms, all that good stuff. So language too can help us with the adoption. Had a person sitting in one of my sessions once, and she's like, I'm so tired of answering tickets with no. Can we customize the look and the feel of the SharePoint site? No. Well, on this slide, the image came out as yes, if we do these things. Can I just create the team I need when I need it? Well, in some organizations right now, Raina can tell you this, and many of you either are there and you're working to transition out of it with Orchestry, or you're working through it right now. It's like, no, you have to go through this approval process, which means there's a delay, right? Maybe you need it tomorrow, but you're not going to get it for a week. That could be a problem. What if the answer is yes, if we use this process and we have this naming convention and you have this appropriate sensitivity label and this and this and this? It's the old yes and. Yes, we can completely customize your SharePoint site, and it's going to cost you $1 billion. Just sign the check over and we can make that happen, right? All kinds of stuff like that. But many times the answer can be a yes, but it's going to be painful. And we know, we just have to accept that. Like, we don't go customize the heck out of the look and feel of SharePoint anymore. It's too painful, it's too fragile, it's too brittle. So at that point, we allow the person coming with the request to say their own no. Of like, no, we're not willing to accept that risk. Fair. We've told them the options.
You know, it kind of reminds me of one of the organizations that I have the delight to share. And she was like, thank you so much for, you know, creating more of a self-serve experience, because it gives the business users the autonomy that we're looking.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, it was really sad because they used to refer to me as the CIO. So yeah, so it's just one of those things. Like, what is that path that satisfies the needs of both? And then you can become the CIS.
And see, I know that would be a very uncomfortable place for me to live. And sometimes that is just the answer. But what would happen if I'm not going to say formed a committee, because the committees are places where really good intentions go to die so much. But what if we got an audience together with our people that say no and the group of people from the business that are requesting these things, and find out what's the real reason why we keep getting no as an answer? Where are the fears? Where are the risks? And how can we, as very, very, very smart people, sit down together and come up with a solution that can satisfy both sides of that, right? Because so much is possible. Maybe it means we need additional training and assistance on the business user side of things to learn how to properly navigate these things. Maybe it is a third-party solution. Maybe it is finding that sweet spot between legal and compliance and IT, where it is an acceptable level of risk, but it means we're not going to Dropbox or Gmail or all those other things again.
Did you see the chat, Ed?
Oh, Ed.
Thank you.
Look at you. OCM training and guidelines are much more effective if provided before apps get deployed and launched. Agree, Diane.
100%, Diane.
Yep. I think too, and I can say this through the lens of a business user very, very quickly, we're tired. Stuff changes so much, and it doesn't matter how technical I am or how many MVP plaques I have on my wall. I am still a user of Microsoft products and technologies. Anyone just can't wait for them to change a product name again. You know what's going to happen. Really looking forward to it, right? We get tired of change. So I think, Diane, 100%, let people know before I told one of our customers this, before they get their first email from Orchestry asking if something can be archived.
Yes.
We need to let them know, what does archive mean? What does it not mean? Why are we doing this? Why do we need to archive things? Well, because search sucks and we're tired of search sucking for you. So we're going to remove all the policies from like 2000 to 2017 that don't apply to anything anymore, right? We're going to get them out of your way, right? There's reasons. There are things that are in it for you. And I think one of the most valuable things that we can offer folks, in addition to Diane's point of letting them know what's changing before it changed, let them know what's not changing. You are still going to have access to your SharePoint sites, your libraries, your content, your teams. That's not changing. The ones you use daily, weekly, monthly, those aren't going away. But the ones you haven't used in 2,379 days, yes, that's a real number. Those, we're going to put them to bed. Going to put them to bed. Anyone here working legal? Bless you if you do. Anyone in legal? No? And if you do, you're not willing to say, hey, I see you. I see you. Now, it's my understanding, legal clients, fair, Cindy, it's my understanding that it's actually less risky for an organization to not have something when asked for it than to have a whole lot of stuff that they shouldn't have anymore. I've heard that. I'm not legal. I can't say that that's true or not. Raina, you seem to agree.
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of legal organizations, and it's not so much legal that has the holding on content longer than they have to. But what I've been told is that if organizations have a retain everything and they keep it forever, that becomes admissible. So only satisfy the legal requirement from a hold perspective and then get rid of it. That actually improves your legal posture. Not a lawyer, but said from a lawyer.
We should have little things
the legal
scrolling at the
people tell me
bottom.
if I've like misrepresented in any way, please don't sue me.
We cannot be held responsible for our opinions, right? Isn't that the thing? But just thoughts, right? Yeah, same. So Bethany, they have
25
information
years?
that they are required to keep for 25 years. But keep
But not
doesn't mean it's
26.
okay. That doesn't mean it has to be right here in SharePoint eating up your hot storage, your expensive storage. It can be over there, right? So just keep that in mind. There are ways that are cheaper and just more better for the business users at large. So let's talk about a few things. Let's get to action. Let's talk action. I love it. We are not dragging this out. It's perfect. Our goal in life at Orchestry, all the things,
Every day.
reduce friction, reduce shadow IT, reduce blame, right? Awesome. That doesn't mean we boil the ocean tomorrow. Please don't. IT's tired. We're tired. Stuff changes. We just want a nap, right? And maybe a cookie. So trying to do all the things, IT's already tired. We don't need to do that. And the business users also tired of things changing all the time. And when
Just let us know. Just let us know.
say,
Bring us in earlier. And you know what? If you have to have
True.
something that's rock solid locked down, just tell us why. We want to be good corporate citizens. Instead of just saying, because I said so, or not even just finding out, but just like let us know, hey, listen, this happened. This is why we've put this in place. You'd be surprised. You would be surprised how many people will go, oh, that makes sense. I will follow that to the letter.
100%. 100%. My favorite phrase I picked up when consulting was, or it's really not a phrase, but it's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? You don't have to do it all. So as you're thinking about some of these areas we've brought up for thought today, this isn't the marching orders to just go fix it all or go have all the conversations today. But what are 3 moves you could maybe make it 30 days? And even if you do 2, that's still significant process. What's something that IT gets a lot of tickets on? Maybe it's provisioning. Maybe it has to do with sharing links. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's Copilot based. Could be. I'm Microsoft, right? I had to say it. What's one thing that you could simplify in 30 days, right? Pick it, create some documentation around it, like Diane, I believe. Before you make the change, socialize it, educate, let people know. And then if that automated or that new process feels pretty rigid for users, what's an exception route, right? Is there an SLA around it? What's one thing that you could do and then support it with documentation and exception paths? It feels reasonable, curious. Anybody out there, anything come to mind? It's like, you know what? This is one of those things that I could probably simplify within a month. Thoughts? Snide remarks?
Unexpected comments?
Jason, I know you have a snide remark. Come on. Okay. I see you not unmuting. But think on those things. What are those areas that could be simplified for the user base? Talk to your help desk folks. Where are they getting the most repeat, my frequent flyers of those things that keep coming up over and over and over again? Is it password resets? Have we turned on multi-factor authentication so we can reduce that? Right? That's an option. And then if you could build on that and have 3 moves in the quarter, it's one a month. It's one thing a month to enact change on. Not too shabby. And it's way less intimidating than going, I need to create archive policies for every type of team we have in the company. No. We're not saying that. Right? We have options. All right. That is the next to the last slide. I think we still have it where everybody can come off mute should they choose. Would love to hear your thoughts. Anything thought-provoking for you out of this webinar? Is it reinforcing things you're already thinking? You just came in for a little moral support? Would love to hear from you. Corporate therapy with Joy and Rena.
And we would never judge. Ever. We'll give you hugs, we'll send cookies, we'll make bad jokes, but we would never judge. But I have a story I could share while someone is thinking about joining in the conversation. And it's the gamification. Anyone here struggling with getting folks to let go of content so that you can reduce some of the storage bloat that's happening in SharePoint? So I have a customer. I love this idea so much. I'm going to share it with you. I asked for permission. They gamified it. What they did is they're an Orchestry customer, so they've got like really easy access to, how much storage is in the user's workspaces. So what they did was they challenged the users to go through their existing content and do a Marie Kondo spark joy and get rid of it. And then they had leaderboards that they had developed, and there were prizes for the people that reduced the most amount of storage. So it's an idea that I thought I would bring to you. So it might actually be helpful, but sometimes gamifying these tedious little chores and launching it really ignites the child inside of each of us and will give you an idea to help chip away at those odious tasks.
Oh, I like that. So nobody likes having to clean out their closet. I don't know. I did just do a massive, if you read my articles I post on LinkedIn,
Excellent.
I governance to my house over the holiday break. I applied life cycle management to my house. It was very cathartic.
The Biggest Loser
contest.
I love that.
Okay, so what are the prizes we give? Where does it hit? Or is it just the fact that they were at the top of the leaderboard and we were competitive people?
No. These guys were going over their storage quota because they had only recently got Orchestry. So essentially what they did is the person who was able to reduce, and they do this each month because it's not going to be over in in 1 month. They actually gave a $500 gift card.
Oh, that's way cheaper than storage.
Well, exactly. But I mean, the average business user doesn't know that. But think about that. $500 versus 55,000. Anyways.
Oh my word. Okay, I see. Lisa. Lisa. Hey, what you got, girl?
On topic, I can't get to the notes anymore. I had opened it up, and then when I try to log in, I have to ask for extra permissions from my organization. So I have sent a request via my Gmail. If you could allow the mutual knowledge K. That's my play on SharePoint name.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll
Robert had his hand up.
No.
Oh, no, sorry. It was last name first. I am very sorry about that.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring up the last slide. Our goal was to hit about the 45-minute mark, and look at that, Raina. Oh, we are on target. Love it. Yes, Star Wars reference. Not a sales pitch, but it's an opportunity. If you don't have Orchestry, if you are interested in just kind of seeing what it can do, we got you. We're here. You can actually have it in your environment, or depending on your industry, a dev environment, whatever is most appropriate for you. But you do need to get in touch with one of us to do that. We are here for you. Let us know. We're going to hang on for just the next few minutes. If anyone else has any questions or any thoughts they want to share in the chat. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Simon. But thank you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, your examples. Raina, awesome as always. I feel like there's demand for Joy and Raina podcast. So
Can
you
it
might
be
have
the
to look
after
into
5
this.
o'clock where we might be able to drink something other than tea?
I mean, or whatever might be in this thermos. Sure.
I'm not judging.
Yeah, it's just water. I'm boring. All right. Fantastic. Well, thank you, everyone. We appreciate it. Hope this was helpful for you, and hope to see you on the next one. But again, we're going to hang out for just another few minutes, but just in case anyone wants to come off mute. But otherwise, this concludes our regularly scheduled program.
That was
Thank
fun.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You know what, we should have part 2. We should have a contest for the best idea that they had for new year, new ideas, new start, to tackle away at that challenge that you put out there. That would be fantastic.
We can do that. I don't need an excuse to talk. All right.
Oh, we have a new message. What do we have here? Oh, everybody's being so nice, so polite. Well, thank you. Thank you all for carving out some time out of your schedule. And also, like, always make certain that, you know, our webinars, we try to make certain that they're not dull, that they're not sales pitches, that they're about things that we are challenged with each and every day. So if there's anything ever that you folks want to discuss for our existing customers, let us know. We'll talk about just about anything, and we'll bring in the right subject matter experts to make sure that it's an exciting experience for everybody.
Absolutely. All right. Oh, Bethany.
I like Bethany.
Hello.
Hi.
I have an advice request, really.
Okay.
'Cause I'm an office admin. We've had Orchestry for over a year now, and we've got lots of other things inbuilt, like Planner, OneDrive, all that jazz. I'm working on getting hub sites for each department. But there's like not a lot of buy-in. Only a couple of people have, and that's people that I managed to convince that having all of the, mostly finance, having all of those things in SharePoint would be better for collaboration than doing it via email. So my question really is, do you have any better ways for me to try and like drum up some investment, because I'm still, even over a year into Orchestry, getting people asking me how do they create new teams, even though there's so much training information out there, and I ran drop-in sessions for months afterwards.
Yeah. So and the goal is to get them collaborating more in the M365 space other than like outline products.
Yeah, because we have a big problem. Everyone does everything via email. They're not even sometimes doing it via sharing links. They're just emailing offline drafts to each other, and it's, well, personally very upsetting as an IT person. But
I feel you on that. Yeah.
But it's like there's only a handful of people who are really, now that I've been in this role for almost 2 years.
Okay.
I get people who know me and know what I do and ask for things,
Right.
whether that be like Power Apps or SharePoint lists or stuff like that. But then you, on the other hand, you still get people who are like, what SharePoint? How do I add someone to a team? How do I collaborate with guests?
Yeah. My first thoughts where my head goes is to do a show and tell, like do a SharePoint roadshow in your organization. Show the advantage, like I need to find this document. I'm going to go to email, and here are 6 different threads where 6 different versions of this document exist. How do I know which one is the right one? How do I know which one is up to date? How do I know which one is the average person most likely going to use? Probably the one they find first. Is that correct? Is that accurate? Then you're like, so I found this by playing the which thread has the actual attachment game, which nobody likes that game. I hate finding where that little paper clip is in email anyway. Finally find it. I don't really know if that's a single source of truth. Showing that, and then showing, as opposed to, I can just click this link and it's right here in SharePoint. I see the last date it was modified, and I know this is the correct version. It is different click pattern, but if people are like, well, I want to go to my email to find it. Okay. Because sharing that link means I'm sharing the exact same document that Bob shared, that Raina shared, that Lisa shared, that Beth shared, that still the same one. And it can still happen in email if that's where the comfort level is. Just show it. Now we know, we don't have to guess. That's where my head goes first, and just kind of like doing some presentations. If you have organizations and they have like weekly or monthly stand-ups, invite yourself to the party.
And make sure it's recorded. So if it comes up again, you can send, look I talked about it right here. So, produce once, use many times.
Yeah. Maybe something like that. Lisa has opinions.
Lisa always has opinions. Just to piggyback on that, if you can create a demo SharePoint site, and also a SharePoint homepage for the tenant, that will help them navigate to all of their SharePoint sites. There's lots of blogs out there that you can crib off of. I believe Orchestry has some. I'm putting in the chat SharePoint Maven. He has a ton of stuff. And a lot of,
he's great.
Built out. He's got something called Lookbook 365 also that has different types of sites with what he's used for web parts and storage and items, so that you can see at least, you can't get into it and use those, but you can see what it looks like and sort of explain it. And you could use that to create your demo sites. If you have one that all of the team needs to go to, that can be really helpful for your example, like the ITS main site that you have your hands in. My team has decided to move to Confluence. I'm a little mystified, but it's because they said, well, we can't find anything in SharePoint. Search just doesn't find stuff. And that's another element, because there's things in the admin center that have not been managed so that you can search, within documents, because that would solve a lot of their issues.
Oh, yeah. And Confluence doesn't make that better. We have Confluence.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. But basically, if there's something, like if you know what their pain points are with I want to just search in my email, then find a way that like they can do something virtually the same way in what you want them to be. So Microsoft lets you search for like the whole tenant, though, depending on your licensing, or maybe all of them. So you should be able to find it regardless of whether it's an email. And some people roll their eyes, but I recommend people use Edge and sign into Edge, because it gives you a home page with all of your Microsoft everything on it.
100%.
That might help.
As someone with multiple accounts for like admin and like user activities, That's a
Yeah.
must-have for me.
Oh, agree. I'd be lost without my Edge homepage. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, I love the demo idea, because we do have a main hub, and
Yeah.
I bullied the IT manager into having it as one of the default tabs when Edge opens. So everyone,
Nice.
well, presumably it just comes up and they close it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
like
I
that.
like
I
that.
think I'll have a chat with the L&D team, see if I can
Perfect.
run some sessions.
Yeah, and even asking the why, and ask it more than once. In fact, the old adage is ask why 5 times, but
Yeah.
maybe like in nice ways, creative ways. Like, but why? Okay, but why?
Yeah, that's
And
interesting.
just
Right.
peel it away.
Yeah.
Peel away the layers.
Yeah, kind of run
But-
some like, how can I help sessions?
Yes.
Encourage people to ask the stupidest questions, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
say it, but gamify it, have
Yeah.
like a $10 lunch voucher for the most ridiculous question, just to encourage participation. And that's the cool thing is participation. If you can get 1, 2, then it's infectious and more people will
Mhm.
be brave to ask questions. They just need a safe place to say that I don't know everything. And that's, I think, if I could just advocate on the typical business user, we already know that you guys know more about the technology that we're asking about, and we feel a little insecure sometimes. So creating like a really nice space where it's safe to ask silly questions, man, that'll get you so far.
Yeah. And when I would do deployment planning calls with business units and departments, my number one rule was typically, if possible, no managers in the room.
Yes. Yes. Because no one wants to look silly in front of their manager.
No.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Hopefully that's helpful.
Mhm.
Right. Anybody else? Otherwise, we can go get some lunch
Mhm.
or dessert. I think it was earlier. I was eating dinner. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for the question, Beth. Thank you so much, everyone. Lisa, for sticking with us after time. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, no kidding.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.